Welcome to the EV Loop podcast powered by Carloop. I'm Adrian Maidment.
And I'm Akhtar, your host.
This week, hands-free driving, chart of the week, what's an Aito, and new segment, vibe of the week. Hi, Riz.
Hey, Adrian. Good to be on.
Yeah, I hope so. Since it's your podcast, I thought we'd get straight into... should we do... No, let's not do small chat. Riz, let's do self-driving, unsupervised. Have you done it this week? Because I've got it as my lead story.
Yes. So I've had a car, thanks to Tesla, for the last couple of days with full self-driving supervised. It's quite good. I'm extremely impressed.
I want an in-depth analysis.
In-depth? Alright, so starting with the fact that I've done multiple trips over 50 kilometers with zero interventions. So it means I haven't had to take over the wheel. So from where the car is parked to its destination, taking city streets, freeways, roundabouts, intersections, T-junctions, as we discussed previously, judder bars, which I thought was a part of Auckland, but apparently it's speed humps.
It's not a suburb of
It's
Auckland.
not. So it can do all of that really, really well. So, all in all, I've driven it enough with it to now know what it's capable of and where it is still learning. And all I can say is it's impressive. I can finally see why a car that can take you from A to B without you, let's just say, constantly focusing on, accelerating, braking, steering, all the rest of it, can be a little bit easier moving forward with this technology, which is pretty exciting.
Any concerns? Any I'm not sure about that, while you're driving?
Yeah, so, a couple of things, particularly around where there's roadworks, and we have to give system the credit that it's still, a lot of the roads that I'm driving on, it's very unlikely that another car with FSD has driven on those previously because of how new the tech actually is. But one of the things that I encountered actually was a boom gate, and some boom gates, one of the boom gates that you have to pull up to it, wait, and then it opens up. That was one of the things which it struggled to see. But I know the system can do it because I've seen many videos out of China which have plenty of those toll gates and boom gates there. It manages those pretty well. So maybe the upcoming releases that could be improved a little bit, but it's a very sort of edge case. Aside from that, I think, overall, very, very impressed with what it is. It's a great package. If they can bring subscription like they have in the US, I think a lot of people, once they experience it, they'd be keen to jump on it. It just makes driving, especially in traffic, so much easier. And the system is just so smooth. It drives, in my opinion, it drives better than most Uber drivers, that we have today. So, extremely impressed, and I'm really excited for this tech to finally start to get into owners' hands, hopefully in the coming weeks.
The only scenario I really want to know about is I'm stuck on the motorway and in 5 km/h traffic. How's that going to go?
Easy. Extremely easy. The way it just manages and juggles, it monitors speeds of vehicles relative all around you. The visualizations are extremely impressive on FSD. So you can see all the cars. It even makes up its own mind when it, for example, if there's roadworks ahead, it's coned off, it will start to indicate. It surprises you a lot as well with if you're traveling on a highway or a freeway and the traffic slows down in your lane, it will, if the traffic is flowing pretty well in the lane next to you, it will start indicating and does it all very, very smoothly. Lane changes, going over speed humps, slow traffic, fast traffic, merging onto the freeways and highways, on-ramps. It just, so far, it's really sort of, it's 99.9% there.
What about someone cutting into your lane in front of you? That sort of scenario.
Manages it pretty easily. I've driven it on roads with 2 lanes, trams, school zones, and someone cuts in front of you. It does all that pretty well. It's quite considerate as well. So, if you're traveling on a highway and there's an on-ramp coming and you're still going straight and there's another car that's coming in to merge, it's pretty considerate. It will slow down to let that car go. But if it's coming in too slow, then it will speed up to ensure, obviously following the speed limits, but it will speed up to ensure there's enough gap for it to squeeze into the traffic, either in front of you or behind you.
Okay, that's very interesting about that whole letting the person in thing. What about, is it actually legal on the roads of Australia?
100% it's legal because I am still liable as a driver. It's supervised FSD. It's not saying it can do it while you have a burger in the driver's seat, but it seems to be pretty legal as far as I can see. It's no different to driving. It's just doing it now itself. And it's very good because it senses when you're sort of obviously not paying attention. You might be changing a song or thinking a bit on what to listen to next on your screen. It will tell you that, hey, pay attention to the road. And of course, if you don't, then it can ban you from using it as well, after multiple attempts of it warning you, saying, hey, you're not doing the right thing. I haven't had that before, but I've seen others across the sort of, especially in the US, get bans and interventions to just say, hey, you're just not serious about paying attention to the road. I did do a article on The Driven recently where they are talking about FSD coming in if the car senses you drift across lanes. And it actually prompts you to say, hey, lane drift detected, turn on FSD to make it safer for you, all the rest of it. But obviously people should be paying attention. But it's good it can sense fatigue at next level. So yeah, that's been in the US. We're a couple of, I think, versions behind in Australia and New Zealand at the moment. But if this is what's coming, it's remarkable how good the whole system is on roads that it hasn't had as much training as those in the US and other parts of the world. So very, very exciting. And yeah, I encourage everybody to get to experience it when it is available in the coming weeks.
Thanks for that, Riz. That's a good report. We'll try to test it out. Everyone can try that out if they get a chance. Next up, I thought we'd go into some charging. This was actually in The Driven. Australia's first electric prime mover charging hub gets federal funding. We've talked a lot about hubs in the past. This is sort of on a bigger level, isn't it, Riz?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand has a few more hubs, larger charging hubs compared to what we have. But this is the first sort of, let's call it, major multi-bay fast charging hub for trucks that will be coming in Melbourne in the coming sort of months or so. So it's the start of transitioning our larger sort of trucking fleet to electrification. So yeah, good to see the first project sort of kicking off, but I can imagine so many more in the coming sort of years, because that's what's needed to decarbonize, particularly heavy transport.
Just another sort of new brand of the week a new brand I came across, another Chinese brand. Go to your Chinese desk, Riz, the Aito brand, which I hadn't heard of. But it's got new models coming out, and it's electronics group it's partly owned by Huawei. Oh, I can't even say the word. Huawei, and car manufacturer Sears. Nice easy word to pronounce. Do you know about that brand, Riz?
Yes, so it's part of what Huawei calls HEMA, Huawei Intelligent Mobility Alliance, and it's basically Huawei's got all the tech that you can get from anything from smart driving to self-driving to infotainment screen to cameras to radar sensors, all equipped into these cars. But obviously Huawei does not manufacture cars themselves. So as part of HEMA, the Huawei Intelligent Mobility Alliance, they partner with manufacturers that do. Ceres, I think, has been quite a sort of brand that has been exporting cars into Europe previously, but obviously they have manufacturing capabilities. So Aito would be one of those brands that falls under that, and they are producing these, premium to luxury SUVs in the Chinese market under the Aito brand. And recently they were spotted in Munich, Germany at the IAA Mobility that has just finished up, or I think it's nearly done in Munich at that show as well. So they have obviously big plans to go into the European market. And yeah, just really high quality products. I've been in a fair few HEMA cars in China earlier this year. And, there's other brands like Luxeed and, Aito and others as well. That Maxtro is another one, which is like supposed to be a Mercedes-Benz S-Class or Bentley sort of competitor. So yeah, Huawei's got plenty of that, and that tech is going all around the world.
Okay, chart of the week. What chart have you got for us this week, Riz?
So yeah, this week we'll look at the electric vehicle uptake in the Sunshine State of Queensland. Surpassed 60,000 electric vehicles with ease, and it's powering ahead. Plenty of sun, solar, pretty cheap to charge an EV. So Queensland, I think, is punching way above its weight, particularly when you compare it to states like Victoria, which, you know, has a high population, but I think our EV uptake is sort of in the mid 70,000s. Queensland's doing a lot up there, so quite good to see. And I think moving forward, we will continue to see EV uptake surpass 70,000 vehicles in the state of Queensland in the coming months. So well done to Queenslanders.
We'll move on to top tips now, Riz, and we're going to combine it with maybe some charging news. Top tips charging
Yeah, look, Adrian, why not? Because one of the biggest tips sort of around fast charging is there's people that will get an electric car but feel that they cannot charge at a Tesla supercharger. Now, Tesla superchargers are open to non-Tesla vehicles, quite a lot of them across the country. Last time we did a bit of number crunching, around 2/3 of the 130 plus Tesla supercharger sites in Australia are open to non-Teslas, especially those vehicles that have the CCS2 port, which majority of the electric cars on the market do now. There's a misconception around Tesla superchargers, which is that they're expensive. It's commonly sort of spoken on the internet that, hey, Tesla superchargers, expensive, would never use them. And there's, various different reasons. But actually, it's the other way around. Tesla superchargers are some of the cheapest, especially if you go at times which is off-peak, because quite a few sites now for Tesla vehicles are as low as 35 cents a kilowatt hour for a charger that is capable of delivering up to 250 kilowatts on the right car, that is. But yeah, the availability and reliability of the charging network, and we're not talking about off-peak times like at 4 a.m., although 4 a.m. is included. It's some of the charging sites, 11 p.m. to like 9 a.m., they're charging 35 cents a kilowatt hour for Tesla vehicles and 48 cents per kilowatt hour for non-Tesla vehicles if they're open to non-Tesla cars. That is some of the cheapest fast charging you can get across the country. Where there's other brands that are much, much more expensive that deliver a lot less power and are slower to charge at than what Tesla superchargers do. There is a caveat though, that some 800-volt cars are a little bit slower to charge at Tesla superchargers. But at the price that you're paying for that sort of charging, it's a bit of a no-brainer. So definitely worth checking out what your Tesla supercharger prices are. Another top tip, Tesla now tells you on their website what is the Tesla price and the non-Tesla price. So you don't even have to download the Tesla app if you're just researching of what's your local Tesla supercharger, whether it's open to non-Teslas, and also what the pricing structure looks like and at what are you expected to pay. So yeah, top tip is Tesla chargers, many of them are open to non-Teslas, but also are some of the cheapest across the country.
Okay, let's move on to Vibe of the Week, the new segment, Vibe of the Week. What's your vibe, Riz? What's your vibe this week?
Plenty of models launching, plenty of models being spotted in camouflage sort of wraps. Other models are being spotted with no camo, such as the GAC Ion UT, which is an affordable electric hatchback that was spotted couple of days ago in Sydney, being tested with no camouflage or anything, so it's pretty easy to spot what it is. So plenty of brands are making their way into the Australian market. Actually, quietly, one of the things that's happened, and there's a bit of discussion around it, and it doesn't include Australia or New Zealand, but I think it will have a pretty big impact, is Canada now is thinking about removing the 100% tariffs they had on Chinese electric cars, because this could, Canada is saying it's to help their farmers who have been impacted by reverse tariffs by China on Canadian products. But at the same time, it's incredible, because if this comes through, then there will be plenty of Chinese brands. BYDs have already been spotted testing there over 12-18 months ago. So it will really help a lot of these Chinese car makers, especially those that have vehicles like XPeng, BYD, you name it, they will all be heading over there as well in the coming 6, 12, 18 months. And we know the Chinese brands move very, very fast. And if that happens, it's game over for the US EV industry in many ways. And yeah, it's a bit of a quiet sort of opening that is starting to emerge for Chinese brands who were very strong in Europe recently at the IAA Munich show that we spoke about, but it's about to go another level if the Canadian government does remove those 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs. I have been on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's radio multiple times talking about the benefit that, here in Australia we're seeing with Chinese electric cars. With affordability, pricing, competition, we talk about this on this podcast all the time. And all of a sudden, North Americans, aka Canadians, could possibly be in the very same position where they have more than just Tesla and some of the more expensive Hyundai, Kia products to choose from. So exciting times.
Okay, that's pretty good. Any last thoughts, Riz, to take us away with?
Yeah, so next week I will be test driving one of the most highly anticipated SUVs and definitely the fastest charging car I've ever tested. That should give it away in Adelaide. I'm looking forward to sharing more of what it's actually like to drive on our roads because I've previously driven it in China. So pretty exciting stuff. Going to be sharing that with our viewers and listeners.
Okay, and remember to, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section. We'll try to get to those. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Riz.
See you all next time.